Oh, my stream was behind. Whoops. Hey, what's up? Sorry, I've just been sitting in awkward silence for a few seconds, haven't I? But what's up? I'm Tapioca again. Um, and I'm playing Yakuza Kiwami 2 now. This game, I do love this speed game a lot, but one thing I have to do before I start the speed game is restart it. I just realized because this game, I'm playing this on PC right now. This game has a real strong tendency to crash, and I've had it open for about 10 minutes just waiting for my turn in the marathon, so I'm going to go ahead and reboot the video game so that it doesn't crash on me in Chapter 9. It's still going to crash on me, spoiler alert, it's going to crash in Chapter 14, but this will avoid a less convenient crash earlier in the game, so that's where we're at with this game. Those are the kinds of strats that we need to do to make this game work on PC. But anyway, now we can start the run. I'll do that in 3, 2, 1, go. So anyway, this is Yakuza Kiwami 2. It's a remake of the original Yakuza 2, which was a PS2 game from 2006. And that game is jank as hell, and I love it, but apparently most people don't love it. So they went ahead and did like a fancy remake of it, just ground up full remake in 2018, 2017, something like that. This is a pretty modern game. I am running it at sort of bad graphic settings. It's a funny story with this game. Every time I reinstall it, it just runs worse and worse. And with this most recent reinstall, I now get horrible frame rate issues, so I'm playing on like medium to low graphic settings just to make it run at 60 FPS and not like slow down and things. For the gist of the game, it's basically, well, honestly it's a bit hard to describe. It's basically like an action game with RPG stuff, with open world stuff. It's a bit of a unique mix of things. This is the tutorial, by the way. I love this graveyard. I have seen this graveyard many, many hundreds of times. We're just trying to get through the tutorial as quickly as possible. Of course, it is completely RNG whether or not these guys want to cooperate. That wasn't too bad, though. That was pretty solid. If you've ever played any of the Yakuza games before, this one uses Dragon Engine, so it's basically the same moveset as Yakuza 6. Although, if you've ever seen a Yakuza 6 speedrun, but not this one, the strats that we use in this run are completely different. Well, actually not completely different. They're not too different. You'll see what we're gonna do in a second here. But a lot of the routing is going to revolve around these vending machine drinks. We'll buy some there, and we'll buy some others later in the chapter. These were introduced in Yakuza 6, and we're going to use them for massive attack buffs throughout the entire game. We use them in 6 as well, if you ever watch a run of that game. They saw how OP the attack buffs were in Yakuza 6, and they decided, you know what? Let's make the drinks even more OP. And now they let you carry 10 of them instead of just one. So we're going to spend most of this game carrying around massive attack buff drinks and just stabbing everyone with swords. That's pretty much how the route plays out. Oh yeah, I should mention this as well, because this is something that everyone always immediately points out if they've not seen the run before. I am playing with an ungodly high FOV. I'm also playing with extremely weird non-standard camera controls. And there is a real reason for that. We will want the camera to be like this for a certain fight in the finale to manipulate the enemy spawns. So, yeah. I don't want to mess with the options or like mess with the camera settings mid-game because that would be slow. So instead I just play the entire game with the camera like zoomed way the hell out. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is an incredibly cursed speedrun. Just drank a Poseidon Power, you can see the effect in the top left corner. That's going to give me infinite sprint durability. A lot of these, like, not the most recent Yakuza games, but a lot of the more modern ones have this, like, sprint stamina system that I just hate, honestly. Fortunately, it's not that big of a deal in this game because we have Poseidon Powers, which is going to let us just sort of have infinite sprint durability for most of the game. Swap that off for a citrus cider. This is a light attack boost. This is the only citrus cider we're going to use in the whole game. We just really want some kind of attack boost for this fight to make it go a little bit faster. That being said, that was not very good. Wow, that was not very good at all. I like chased that guy halfway across the area. Alright, bit of a detour before we finish the chapter. Going down those stairs would lead us to the fight, to the first boss of the game. But before I do that, I need to go buy some muscle soda. This is the main drink that we're going to be using for most of the run. That's an encounter, don't worry too much about them. Alright, I've now got 10 muscle sodas. This seems like a bit of a massive detour to come all the way out here and pick those up, but it's actually, like, that is the most convenient spot for muscle soda in the early game. I just ran out of stamina after bragging about how I wouldn't. Whoops. Why you always drink Poseidon Power. You're about to see how powerful muscle soda is, though. We're gonna show that off right away on these dudes. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can't tell quite yet, because I'm getting owned. But we are killing all of those enemies in one hit, and with muscle soda, you can pretty much kill every enemy in the game in one hit, including bosses. So watch what happens to Daigo here. This is the more impressive fight, I think. Go straight for this bike. And that's an HP bar and a half, and that's... Oh, I missed. And that's his other HP bar and a half, and now he's dead. I feel the heats can't be skipped in this game, so we gotta do all of these. There we go, first boss down in 2 hits. What makes Daigo go faster or slower is sort of how he's standing relative to you when you hit him with the bike. You don't want him to like fly all the way down the alleyway or anything, you want him to sort of stay close to you. This game actually does not have gut punches. Being a Dragon Engine game, he has a totally different moveset. They changed his moves up, so we can't do it anymore, but that's fine, because we don't need it. We have much better moves now than the mere gut punch from the OG Yakuza 2. Alright, entire second city time. This probably isn't very impressive to people who are more used to, like, modern Yakuza games, but, Yakuza 2, one of the things that makes it an awesome game is that there's an entire second city tacked on at the end of the first one, and that's just, like, mind-blowing on PS2. It's crazy. But here it is, Sotenbori. We're gonna spend about half the game here. No encounter there, huh? Interesting. In this chapter, we're just trying to get into the VIP section of this club. I don't quite remember why, but we really want to get into the VIP section of this club for whatever reason. We're gonna have to go pull some favors with a dude we just met in a cutscene that I skipped. Along the way, though, this is something actually important that happens in Chapter 2. I'm going to be picking up this gold plate. One of the things they did in Kiwami 2 that's an upgrade over the first game is there's a bunch of crap littering the streets. There's just, like, items everywhere. It's not just locker keys, either. Like, we just picked up a plate straight up off the ground. We're going to pick up some other gold plates and also a bunch of locker keys in this run. And the plates are going to get sold to fund a whole bunch of things. So that gold plate, along with some other plates, are our main source of income. Really important you don't forget to pick those up, otherwise your run is just kind of not viable. I have absolutely forgot to pick that plate up, is why I'm making such a point of this, and then in Chapter 4 I realize I'm too poor to play the game. Take my knife out. This knife was the knife that we got in the tutorial back in Chapter 1. That's where the knife comes from. And it's just really helpful in the early game. We can do things like that, where you just stab everybody. The knife is a really good early game weapon before we have any swords. Another really nice thing that keeps the pace of this game up is that every cutscene is skippable. Like, not just cutscenes are skippable, but like every little bit of dialogue is completely skippable. So there's really zero downtime in this run, aside from, well, aside from the massive chunks of downtime, but we'll get to that. For the most part, there's no downtime. This is a fun run. The pace is good. That's chapter 2. Also, they just blew up the Millennium Tower. I would not like to have an office in the Millennium Tower. I feel like they blow that building up every other Yakuza game. Alright, we're immediately leaving Sotenbori, and we're now going to the first set piece in the game, or the first, like, action stage, or first dungeon, whatever you call these. Everyone has a different name for these types of stages, but these are just sort of, like, longer fight sections, rather than just kill all the enemies and then it's immediately over. This one is deceptively simple, and it's where a really annoying piece of RNG is going to start to creep into a run. This game makes heavy use of a ragdoll physics engine, and part of that is that whenever you hit somebody, whether or not they'll drop their weapon or if the weapon will just shatter in their hands is sort of random, and I don't think it's supposed to be, but we need enemies to drop their weapons in this run. Like that dude with the wooden sword, I need his sword. Please drop your sword, sir. Alright, he did. Good, very good. Getting this wooden sword's gonna let me do the second wave of enemies a little bit faster. They are not coming at me. That was pretty good though. Look at that double. That was nice. You lose the sword here. This next group of enemies has another sword guy, and once again, I need his sword. Hopefully he'll drop it. One of the good things that the knife does here is it makes him more likely to drop his sword. If you just kick him or something, he'll almost always break it. Alright, I saw that it dropped. I just need nobody to, like, step on it or something dumb. And my buff ran out. Good, good, good. That's good RNG on those fights. We got both wooden swords. There are a few different places in the run where this is going to come up. I think the next important one is Chapter 6. In Chapter 6, there are some guys that we want to drop their weapons. As you can see, this sword lets us go really fast through these groups of enemies. Don't even have to worry about these guys. Normally, if you didn't have a weapon, you'd have to charge up a kick on them, and it's real slow. We can just do that. Don't even worry about it. And I have 7 hits left on this sword for the group of enemies here, which is really good. Actually, this is a little bit awkward because it's almost too good. I have to drink a muscle soda here. Lost the sword there, even though it still has some durability on it, because I no longer have any use for it. And I want to pick something else up anyway in a little bit. Yo, that guy actually hit the barrier. Nice. Take this nameless katana and we pocket that. Something that you can't actually do in a whole lot of Yakuza games, but you can do in Yakuza 2, is you can pick up weapons and then pocket them and use them later like that. So we're going to be using that all throughout the run to pocket weapons and then use them in other places. That's a really fun mechanic for routing in these games. Ah, shoot. This is slow. We wanted to pick up a chair, but instead we got the urn. Although, that was perfect, so it's fine. Was not punished for picking up the urn. This is the same in OG2 and in Kiwami 2. They make a really big point of highlighting that maybe we can do something with that chandelier, and then we just don't. And instead I'm gonna come down here and use these plants. The difference between this and OG2 being that in OG2 these enemies are completely ignorable. In this game you gotta actually fight them. It's just lame. Oh, whoops, did not mean to do that. That guy was supposed to be a plant. Wow, look at, there's a dude all the way back there. I hate when this happens. Freaking Nagano, get out of here. I should have taken his gun, but I don't need it. I have my own gun. Yeah, in this game it's just down on the D-pad and he instantly pockets it. It's super nice. For safety, I could pocket that guy's sword, but I'm not going to because safety is for cowards. Oh, I made this mistake in D-Rust the other day as well. I was supposed to equip the Nameless. This might be awkward. Okay, we're fine. This is the Nameless Katana that we just pocketed earlier in the chapter. Look how much damage we do to Ryuji. He is now dead. That is the power of the muscle soda. There we go. Easy boss fight. That is actually a pretty easy boss fight. The one concern is when you do those vertical kind of chop attacks as enemies are getting up. We do that in a lot of bosses. That'll just miss sometimes. Kiryu doesn't have very good aim with that. So that's something to be careful of. Aside from that though, that's actually a really easy boss. Most bosses in this game don't really lose us that much time. It's all those little things in between that cause problems. The bosses themselves are all really easy because they all just die in one hit. It actually makes the finale one of the most consistent parts of the run, just because all the bosses are free anyway. Alrighty, chapter 4 is when things start to get a little interesting. Well, I actually like the run before this point, but chapter 4 is when things open up a whole lot. The whole city is now open to us. I'm delaying drinking this Poseidon power as long as possible because I want it to last as long as possible into the chapter. There's an encounter there, but I do not care if they fight me or not because this is an area trigger, so the fight would just be cancelled. Something to keep in mind if you ever want to run this game is that certain cutscenes like this, you can start the cutscene when you're in a fight, and then other ones you can't, and so you have to sort of know which encounters you have to care about and which ones you can just run straight through. That encounter there is facing the wrong direction, so they won't see me, so I can just run right past them. Random encounters are actually not that bad in this run. We're definitely not going to fight any, hopefully. Knock on wood, but hopefully we're not going to fight any. Typically you don't. Once you've got the tech down for how to avoid random encounters in this game, they actually barely impact your time at all. Most of the time loss in this game comes from fights ending in 2 hits when they should have ended in 1, as well as a couple of large RNG points at different spots that I'll point out. But the encounters are actually not that bad. There's all kinds of different little tips and tricks for despawning them, de-aggroing them, all sorts of little things you can do. And it's kind of fun and rewarding to learn all the little different things. At least I think so. Once you're good at it, they basically lose you no time. Just like a second or two here and there. Alright, anyway, we're now waiting on a 3-minute phone call. So 3 minutes from now, we're going to get a phone call telling us to do something. This shouldn't be a problem. Cool. We're going to use this time to run around the city and collect a whole bunch of stuff that's going to save us a bunch of time in the rest of the run. So talking to that guy gave us 50,000 yen. This locker key is for a technique tome, which is a bunch of free experience. Something to mention about the taxis in this game is that there are taxi points everywhere, and it's super nice. Compared to other Yakuza games where you gotta run everywhere, in this game we're going to be taking a huge amount of taxis. We hardly run anywhere in the city, you just taxi everywhere. It's super comfy. Here's our third plate. That's going to sell for like, I think 150,000 yen, maybe 200. Probably an encounter here. Oh, they were behind me. Interesting. That encounter's usually in front of me here. That was an interesting spot for them to be. Once you play this game a whole bunch, you start to notice like patterns in the encounters. This locker key is for the Blood-Caked Chainmail, which gives us a massive attack buff when equipped. That's the first phone call, which means 1 minute has passed, or I think it's 1 minute has passed. See if I got everything. Yes, I do. Come down here. This locker key is for the antique pistol, which has 3 bullets in it. 2 of those bullets are going to be used for speed strats, and the 3rd bullet we have no use for in the current route. Maybe in the future we'll come up with somebody to shoot. Wow, I'm just bouncing into everyone on that bridge. Jeez. Bad movement. This locker key is for the Oakwood Katana, which has 36 hits on it, so that's a really helpful weapon. We're going to get a couple of those in the run. Breeze through them. Detour over here to Ebisu Pawn. We're going to sell those plates now. Here we go. I am now... Wait, what? But I like... Yeah, I... Somehow I menued that wrong and didn't sell the platinum plate. Okay. Good catch by me. Otherwise, would be in trouble. That's going to put us a bit behind on the phone call. The phone call might come before we get to this taxi. Oh, we're good. Ideally, we're just waiting in the pharmacy for the phone call to come in. But once we route it in the antique revolver, we now get it a few seconds early. That's actually a bit earlier than usual even, because of bad menuing in Ebisu Pawn. But yeah, we're waiting for the phone call to tell us to buy bandages. Those are the bandages. In this game, you cannot buy them before you get the call telling you about it. So ideally, you're just waiting there for the phone call to come in. But that's not really how the route is at the moment. We have a couple seconds overlap. That's it for the massive shopping spree in the run, though. That's the biggest, like, running around picking stuff up part in the run. Most of what we were picking up is actually locker keys, not items themselves. The way that works in this game is just, well, it's the same as it works in any Yakuza game. You pick up the locker keys, then you trade in the keys at the lockers, and you get the actual items out of them. We're going to get the items later in the chapter, and we're just going to get them all at once as well. I know in the original Yakuza 2, you actually like stagger when you open the lockers to manage inventory space. But this game has a different inventory system where you just never run out of space, like ever. It's just not a concern. So we can just open everything at once. Yeah, because of that Ebisu stuff, we're going to run out of stamina a little early here. Hopefully the encounter is nice. Okay, the encounter is nice. I'm going to have to, like, awkwardly stutter step into this arcade because I don't want to run out of stamina. Alright, cool. This is something that broke on the PC port at some point. It's frame rate related, but note the weird lag and the fact that I have to, like, sit there for several seconds. That didn't used to happen. That just started happening one day when I reinstalled Windows. Not sure why. Everything that I'm doing in the game right now, by the way, is to gain entrance to a top secret special mahjong parlor. And if you play the original Yakuza 2, you actually just talk to the guard outside 15 times, and then he gets annoyed and lets you in for free. That's not a thing in this game, so we have to go and chase down this guy Jonka and get his special tile that'll let us get in. Now's when we're going to open the lockers as well. Oop, bad menu. That hopefully was everything. Cool, okay. That looked like everything. Kind of going through these menus quickly, but that looked like everything. That was me drinking Poseidon Power, because I have a bit of a run to do here. Equipping the Oakwood Katana that I got out of the lockers, and also equipping the Blood-Caked Chainmail. I love how snappy the menus are in this game. It's like proper speed game RPG menus where you can actually just input them really fast and it's fun. Yo, we just returned Jonka's kidnapped cat to him. That's what we were doing there. We thought we were saving his wife, but we were actually just saving his pet cat. But now we can get into the Mahjong place. Oop. Bonking into the wall next to the elevator. The real reason why we wanted to get so much money, like the reason why we sold those plates and why we did the talk to the dude for the 50,000 yen, it's all because this guy makes us pay him a huge amount of money if we want to go fast. Right off the bat, he just asks us for 100,000 yen, and there's no way around that. And then if you want to skip some other things, we need to pay him 300,000 right there. So that's a lot of money. Fortunately, we've got the plates around town. This fight is one of the less convenient ones, or less consistent ones for me in the run. We're trying to hit these dudes with the trash can. That was actually really good. The challenge when you're doing this is that the enemies love to kick furniture at you, and if you get hit by any piece of furniture, you'll immediately drop and break the trash can, and then you're just screwed. But that was kind of decent. That wasn't bad. Oop, not that. Poseidon Power. I'm out of muscle soda right now. The way we've routed soda in this game is actually really tight. It didn't used to be. Part of my contribution to this run has been making the muscle soda route really tight for no reason. But it saves us a whole bunch of trips to the vending machines. So I know for a fact that I'm going to use my last muscle soda in that Mahjong parlor. And then we refill 10 more right there. And those 10 should last me... for a while. I forget. I have this all in muscle memory, I think until chapter 8. Anyway, I know I said before that there's no downtime in this run, but I lied. So at this point in the game, we need to be introduced to the Cabaret Club manager thing. You'll notice at the top of the screen there's a 3-minute timer that's ticking down. If we interact with anything in this game at all, if I like go into a menu or something and try to play this mini game, the timer at the top of the screen will stop. So the optimal thing to do here is to just put your controller down, and so that's what I'm gonna do for 3 minutes. So yeah, how's everyone doing? Welcome to my speedrun marathon. It's about tapioca corn. How about no? Dude, I straight up, so every week I race a random N64 game with some friends, and we're playing through the whole library. And yesterday we played Tonic Trouble for Nintendo 64. And I had never played this game before, and there's a corn boss fight in that game who like shouts about the corn revolution, and it was like the most on-brand thing I've ever experienced. Dude, Hercules. Hercules 64 is one of the absolute worst games I've ever played. It is shocking how bad that game is. That game is actually shockingly bad. If it weren't for the fact that I hate Morphex for the 360 more, I think that Hercules would be my least favorite game of all time that I've ever played. Maybe not least favorite, but the worst game I've ever played. But nah. You ever heard of Morphex for the Xbox 360? That game is worse. That game makes me want to scream. I hate that game. The actual worst thing I've ever played. It's actually not broken, is the thing. It's just, like, severely unfun. Imagine, like... It's hard to even begin with that game, but basically it's a 12-hour-long sewer level that takes place in, like, I don't know, like, the Russian, like, underground train system. It's just, ugh. Which, I mean, I think I just described Metro 2033, right? And people like that game, but imagine that, but like miserable and not fun and like made on a budget of $5. I'm free. Typically, you would go to the bathroom or something during that run. That's the pro strat. You go to the bathroom during that section. That's the only really long like wait in the run, though. There's one more shorter wait in Chapter 15 as we're waiting on a phone call. But that's it. The pace of this run is not that bad. Alright. I need to remember what to do, because I'm trying to do this without notes, because I'm a lunatic. But we have a very large leveling menu coming up. More than just leveling, I have to like do a billion different things coming up in a second here. Hopefully I remember all of them. We're now at Tojo HQ. We need to go and get Majima's dagger and then use it to convince him to rejoin the clan or something. That's what we're gonna do. Majima's dagger is hidden in a secret room in the back of HQ. This room's actually in a different spot in OG2 than it is in Kiwami 2. In OG2, this room is outside, and they moved it up here for some reason. We're gonna pick up some other stuff out of the room as well. The demon dagger was the required thing, but we also get a technique tome, and we get the nameless katana. So in a second here, I'm gonna equip stuff, use a bunch of items, buy a bunch of level ups. Basically, this is our giant level up menu for the early to mid game. What am I doing? I don't do that yet. We wait until the fight starts. I think I want to use Nameless on this guy. Alright, use the tomes. No equipment. Sprint level 1, XP gain 1 and 2. Weapon attack 1, and the rest goes into attack. I'm 1 orb short on attack, which happens sometimes. That's not good. That does not bode well. Scandal Water. Scandal Water is actually not in this game, believe it or not. Which is good, because it sucks and it's useless. Through Scandal Water. An encounter's probably going to see me, so I'm going to have to despawn them. Buy beer and panties from this store. There's actually a reason for that. We need those for story reasons in a second here, so we go and buy them there. Yeah, don't believe me. I just want to run around with panties. Chapter 5. Yeah, this is Chapter 5. Alright, time for this part. Welcome to this place, which secretly exists under the city, I guess. In a second here, we're gonna do some cage match stuff. I think I was probably supposed to skip that. The fun thing about these cage matches, it lets us bring our weapons in. So we're still just gonna stab everybody. I'm gonna use my wooden one here. It doesn't really make a difference if I use wooden or if I use nameless, but I want to use wooden because I want to preserve my nameless for more important fights. One of the finer points to getting really good at running this game is using different weapons in different places and like knowing which ones you want to use where. I'm a little rusty in this game right now, so I don't totally have my route down, but it goes something like this. Here's Majima, because it wouldn't be a Yakuza game if you didn't have to fight this guy. We'll use nameless on him. We're sort of settling into our strats for the rest of the run though. This is pretty much what most fights in the game are going to look like. We've got a ton of swords, we're going to stab everybody. Sometimes we'll use light attacks, but not always. Also, yes, Majima just took 2 full bars of HP from that one attack. Oh wow, he dodged. Holy crap. That's really rare. I've seen that happen like once before. Majima trying to ruin my run, dude. Oh yeah, we do just kind of punch him in the gut there, don't we? That's like a generic feel the heat that you use on a bunch of different bosses. There's 1 or 2 that just get reused a whole bunch of times, because this is Yakuza, and the devs love reusing assets. I have something equipped in the 3rd slot right now. I don't think so. My D-pad right is empty, and I feel weird about it, but I think that's correct. Anyway, if you ask any Yakuza K2 runner what the worst part of the run is, they will probably answer this. This is the tower defense minigame, clan creator. Oh, and if they don't answer this, they're lying, because this is the worst part of the game, objectively. This is just sort of an RNG fest, and we could lose a lot of time here. We could lose a lot of time here. Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna place Majima right there, and place everyone else right there. Okay, they handled it. 13 seconds was slow, but they handled it. We're protecting these trucks that are in the back. Hopefully no one will get past me. The trucks have a ton of HP. I'm like not worried about them at all. But I am worried about enemies running back there and then being hard to kill. Wait, did I just move Majima? No, we don't want to move Majima. Dude, nobody is ready for this. Dudes are gonna get past, I promise you. Oh, no, no one's getting past. We're good. Alright, good RNG there. All of our different units have a special ability. We're gonna use Majima's special ability here. Hopefully that'll wipe out most of the 4th wave, and then we have these guys here to deal with anyone who survives. Majima did the useless tornado, but that was still really good RNG. This is going to be a really solid clan creator. That being said, world record for clan creator is a 47, so just to give you an idea of how much better it can be still. I didn't even do anything wrong there, so this is just completely an RNG section. 56 is not bad though, we take that. That's about, I think, 13 seconds faster than world record. I think world record is a 109 right now. That's like the only mistake in that entire run is Majima Construction was unlucky. The rest of the run is like perfect. Fortunately, the rating we get doesn't affect the amount of money that we make, because we do actually, I think, need that money for something. No, we rerouted the game recently. I don't think that money matters. At some point, though, the amount of money we got from Majima Construction did actually matter for the route, though. It's kind of concerning, but it doesn't actually fluctuate. It's always 20k, even if you suck. Alright, this is, I think I say this about pretty much every chapter, but this is a bit of a make or break chapter for the rest of the run, believe it or not. Chapter 6 has some important stuff in it that has implications, so we'll see how this goes. Depending on how the enemies drop weapons in this chapter, we'll have to take things a little bit differently, maybe, in the rest of the game. I think that now that I routed in a crowbar, it's not as big of a deal as it used to be. Oh, I did not have to despawn those guys, because this is an area trigger. But I did it anyway. These dudes are actually not going to get wrecked by a sword, because instead they're going to get wrecked by a cone. Power of the traffic cone. Oh wow, that guy dodged a lot. If I wasn't confident in my skills as a pro K2 gamer, I would take a refill of muscle soda there, because the vending machine is directly to my right. But I'm not going to do that, because I don't need to. I'm a pro K2 gamer, and I'm not going to run out of muscle soda. Hopefully these dudes get together, please. Nope. Still only one minion though, so that wasn't too slow. It does mean that we're a little bit low on Nameless Katana on our first one. I was not paying attention, so I don't know what we're at exactly, but we're definitely low. Whatever that means. I should have at least 1 or 2 left. Maybe even 3. Yeah, Kaoru in this game almost never actually causes problems. She actually helps out a lot, which is nice. In OG2, she only ever causes problems. Alright, 4 hits left on the Nameless Katana, which is pretty good. That makes it 3, that'll go to 2. Alright, yeah, perfect. And no, not perfect. I would really like to have 1 more hit on this Nameless Katana, but I don't have it. The 24 hit saw that I just pocketed is actually a sword, and it is one of the best swords in the game as well. So that's a thing. I need this guy to drop his gun. He did. Cool. I'm just gonna do this the way I know how to do it. It can be done slightly faster, but I haven't practiced the new way yet. Oh shit. No, we're good. We're good. If that guy with the machine gun at the end of the hallway hits you, you are very dead. Well, not quite very dead, but you lose a huge amount of time. Do not want to get hit by that. So we'll bring it to 1, and then our last hit of Nameless Katana will be for the first guy on the fire escape. Much like OG2, this fire escape is really weirdly important. There are 2 dudes on this fire escape holding swords, and we want them. Hopefully they will drop them for us. There's the first one, good. There's the second one. This has been a bit slow, but we're still probably fine. That gets us to 7. Just as long as I have, okay. I just need to make sure I have at least 3 coming out of that. That was perfect RNG, aside from the enemies being a bit slow. We got both swords to drop, so I was able to pocket the first one, or... Wait, did I pocket the first one, or did I just throw it? I hope I pocketed that, because that's my backup sword for the route. And then this sword is for stabbing the man in black, because he deserves it. That one can get thrown. Alright, honestly pretty good chapter 6. I'm happy with how all that went. That was good. I kinda wish I still had my Nameless Katana, but I don't think it matters. Alrighty, running with injured person section number 2. There are 3 of these in this game. Drink Poseidon power. I love how much I talk up the pacing of this game, and then when you look at what this game is, it's this. Welcome to K2, I guess. They actually changed the route you have to take here, so it's a lot longer in K2 than it is in OG2. There's also some RNG police through this little bit here when we're walking through Theater Square. The police are almost never positioned in a way where they actually matter. I don't even know where the police are right now. I don't see them anywhere, but perfect, that's fine. Every once in a while, the game will just put the police right in your path, and it's a huge pain in the ass. For the most part, they stay out of my way. Chapter 7 as a whole is a lot of running back and forth here. Not too much happens. There are 2 fights. 2 fights that actually in the original Yakuza 2 are really scary, but in this game aren't that bad. A phone call telling us to run back to where we just came from, so now we're heading back. Man, this game looks like crap. This is medium graphic settings, and everything is just like blurry, and you can't even read it. So disappointing. Price I pay for sort of 60 FPS. It's not even stable because the frame rate limiter is broken. Here's the big boys in the doctor's office. That fight is like the bane of my existence on PS2, and in this game you just smack them with a table, and that's it. Now they're dead. Ugh. And now we're going back to the bar. It's just endless back and forth. Ooh, we're going to be chased by an encounter during this, which is slightly awkward. We're still fine. I do not want to drink a Poseidon Power for this, but I have slightly just not enough durability to actually make it to the bar. So you got to pause for a moment like that, and now we're going to make it. I do have an extra Poseidon Power if I ever wanted to just drink it and then not do that, but the menu to drink the Poseidon Power is very slightly slower than just stuttering a bit. Also, note the baseball bats there that say Magunum. I like them. I only trust Magunum brand baseball bats. That was not good. That was not good at all. Those were supposed to be stabs. I am way down on this sword now. Those should not have been light attacks. Here we will drink Poseidon Power, though. That's the last Poseidon Power in the run. After this, we're going to buy some sprint upgrades, and then we're not going to have to worry about ever running out of stamina again. This is an area trigger, so I'm not worried about it. Hopefully this works. I've been having some problems with this fight in practice. Yeah, didn't work. Didn't work. And Granny broke my sign that I was trying to use. So thanks, Granny. Thanks for nothing, Granny. Now I have to use this cone. There's this great dynamic in OG2 where the sub-story is actually skippable, but it stays there for the entire game. So you just have to dodge it like 20 times for the rest of the run. It's really funny. In this game, it's completely unavoidable, unfortunately. Okay, scary chapter. Hopefully I still have enough Oakwood Katana for all of this. Otherwise, it's gonna be an interesting time. This whole chapter is very scary. Actually, we should have plenty. We should have plenty. We don't usually run out until the end of the set piece, I think. We're about to drink our last muscle soda, though, meaning we need to do this entire basement as well as the boss fight that comes after it. Oh, shoot. Boost weapon attack 2. By that to about there. We need to do this entire basement and the boss that comes after it without running out of our attack buff. I wish I had been counting a little better. I think that's it. I think it's this 6 and then 7. On. We should be fine. Yeah, 14. We're perfectly fine. Alright, I'm gonna do this without hitting him with it. Actually, you know, I'm just gonna test this. Marathons seem like a good place to test strats. I'm gonna not put this sword away. I'm gonna hit him in the face with it and see if I can skip this phase. The answer is no, I can't. He was standing too far away from me. That was just a complete waste of his sword usage, but oh well. I have what, like 9 of those left? Checking my phone during a speed run. The mark of a good speed game is when you don't have to look at the screen in order to go fast. Man, that took a second to load. That was sketchy. Yeah, Yakuza 5, aka 6 hours of scrolling Discord while skipping cutscenes. How did that end up going for you, Hoxie? Did you cut the 7 hours? Doing this without muscle soda is awkward and bad. Please drop your knife. He did not. Okay. Do I have anything? I have this pipe. Not ideal. Okay. Throughout Chapter 8, I'm going to be using these crowbars. The crowbars are really good. Same action as a cone, but much stronger than a cone. Probably for obvious reasons. 719, damn. Well, grats on finishing a run of Yakuza 6. Only an elite few can do runs of Yakuza 5. I meant to say 5, not 6. Yakuza 6 is boring. Probably should have... Nah, whatever, this is fine. This is fine. I pocketed that crowbar, I'm gonna use it late in the run. I want that sword that's in the corner, but before I take it, I need to throw the crowbar at that dude who's got a machine gun. Now we can take the sword, and before I pocket this sword, I need to destroy this barrier with it. Otherwise I have to punch the barrier, and that's slow. And yes, it is faster to open doors by punching them like that. The hitbox on it's real wonky. But it is faster if it works. Light attacks on those guys because they love to interrupt me, and light attacks are a bit better for not being interrupted. Gonna do the same in this room here. This dude who's holding the pipe there, that guy is evil. I hate him. I hate him more than I hate most bosses. Tomita. So light attacks are good on him, just that you don't get memed on. I might have to drink another muscle soda in the middle of this fight, which would be not actually a problem. It would just be a little slow. Oop, good. Good. We're gonna be fast. Yeah, if you hit a door with a weapon, it won't lose durability. Barriers do make weapons lose durability, but doors do not. I'm not supposed to skip that. I know I said before that you can skip like every little bit of text in this game, but you actually don't want to. A lot of text that you can skip is like literally one text box, and it's faster to just press through it rather than doing the skip. Hopefully I have everything here. I hopefully will be able to do this next fight with the wooden katana and then reload after. That would be a really good, like, menuing situation. That would save me some time. I don't know how I ended up ahead on sword. I think I had a lucky fight or two in there. But I think I'm ahead of where I was yesterday in practice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Really want to hit Hashimoto first. Otherwise he does that. We're fine though. This has what, like 3 left on it? That's fine. Oh, this is actually normal. I always have like 3 left here. This is normal. Gonna do this the Fruit MacGuffin way. We're gonna use the vending machine here. I always do take a vending machine here, but there's 2 different ones you have a choice of using. This one seems like it should be slower, but I think it's actually not. So let's go ahead and do that instead of using the one by the taxi in the northeast corner. If I've played fast enough, the game won't crash here. I think we're probably fine. Yep, we're fine. But this PC port is garbage, and on certain models of processor, including mine, the game consistently crashes in certain ways. So if I've had the game open for too long, then it'll crash right there coming out of that cutscene every time. That's why right before I started my run, I rebooted the game, because otherwise it probably would have crashed from being open for too long. Let me take this carefully. This whole section of the run is very weird. Put that. Sprint level 2, sprint level 3. Wait. Purchasable, right? Yeah. Yeah, what am I doing? That was like the world's sloppiest menu. Yikes. Hopefully I didn't just soft lock the game. I did not. Good. Okay, that was really close. There's a weird thing going on there, that requires explaining. But if you kill those enemies in the lobby before the text introducing them goes away, the breakable barrier doesn't become breakable and the game is soft locked. And yes, it does happen more often than you would think. It is very dumb. And that was really close to being fast enough to soft lock the game. That was like just frames off. So that's good. Anyway. Koji Shindo. What a legend. I'm gonna use gun strat on Koji Shindo, which means we do this to him. There is an alternate strat where you don't, well, there's an alternate strat where you do a couple of different things, and basically you skip this phase. I am intentionally not skipping this phase because I want his HP to be at 1 going into the 3rd phase. Because we're going to do Shindo gun strat. Shindo's 3rd phase is easily his most annoying phase. He's very inconsistent, he blocks everything, he dodges everything. 3rd phase Shindo is just a horrible asshole. So we have ways of dealing with horrible assholes, and it's called shooting them. And we're not even going to get close to him to do it. I don't need to approach Shindo. He's not worth my effort, so we're just gonna be a Shindo. If you couldn't see Shindo on the screen, I don't blame you. You kind of got to know what you're looking for. But he was back there, I promise, and we just shot him. And because he's already at 1 HP from phase 2, we're able to just go straight into the end of phase QTE here, and we don't have to bother fighting. Still gotta watch this though. It's very important that we see the fun sword fight where we just totally didn't murder Shindo. He's fine. Just a little catch up. I have nothing on D-pad left right now. This is very awkward. I'm actually going to go ahead and do this. I wouldn't normally have to take that equip until chapter 10, so like I thought, I am like 2 or 3 hits down on sword, but it's fine. I've got that backup, so it's not really a problem. But see, look, like I said, we didn't kill Shindo, because he's fine. He's just right here. Now he's dead, though. Daigo Dojima shoots him in the face. He's very dead. Very dead, but also very based. I had to say it. X-Play was forcing me. X-Play is the world's biggest Koji Shindo fan. Oh god, this is gonna be awkward. Here's what we're gonna do. Picking up this locker key de-aggros and lets us get past. That is not a strat you have to do that often there. That encounter spawn was right up in my face and facing the correct direction, so that was a bit awkward. That's just one of those things you gotta know about this game. You played enough, you figure those things out. Not done with encounter BS though. If an encounter is spawned, okay, no, we should be fine. If there's an encounter in this alleyway here and they're facing me and they're towards the back, you're screwed and you have to fight them. Really, really cool thing. But I could tell because of the encounter spawn in the champion district, that tight area, that there wasn't going to be one there, so we were fine. We'll have to worry about that again because we're heading back there in a moment. That's like the only spot where you can get really screwed by encounters though, is this little section of the run where we have to go into champion district. Anytime I mention this, by the way, I get laughed at by the other, like, newer Yakuza runners. I did not know that this door was here for, like, a really long time, but there's a secret back door in the Millennium Tower. Like, who put that door there? That door didn't used to be there, I swear. This encounter won't aggro to me because there's already a different one chasing me, thank God. And there's nobody here, thank God. Alright, getting all kinds of weird luck. That door is not there in the OG versions, no. That door wasn't there until 6. And because I don't really like 6, I just straight up didn't know that door was there. Please don't fight me. Okay. Man, what is this encounter RNG? This has been a disgusting chapter. Like, holy crap, they are everywhere. The encounters are out for blood. Fortunately, I know every trick in the book, so they can't catch me. Oh, come on. Chapter 10 is pretty much just filler, though. You wouldn't be able to tell because they're skipping all the cutscenes, but none of this has anything to do with the plot. Like, none of this. We're just doing basically Dad Simulator. Super important you don't accidentally talk to the guy in orange there. The guy in orange sitting at the bar is a comedy duo guy, and he sucks you into his horrible sub-story against your will, and he's sitting right next to the bartender who you actually have to talk to, so he's pretty evil. Many runs have actually been ended to him by myself and others. Let's see, I think I reloaded my swords in a weird place, so we should be good here. Normally I would actually use up my last, or use up the last of my first sword here, but because I'm behind a little bit, it's already empty. Pretty decent. 2 stabs is ideal, but 3 is normal. It's actually not, okay, so he's not evil, but his comedy duo partner is evil, and when you try to leave the club, you get sucked into a fight with him, is what happens. The guy in orange is actually a nice guy. I can't remember exactly what their situation is. It's been a really long time since I cared about, like, side stuff in really any of these games, so I couldn't tell you, but I think he's a nice guy. In my opinion, he's a nice guy. Yeah. Like, slowly sliding away from my microphone, I realize. Alright, Satoshi. This man invented Bitcoin. Also, he stole a tattoo or something, so we're gonna stab him. Just because I'm behind a little bit, I'm gonna put the sword away and then kick him for the last hit. We show off our badass tattoo, and then that's the chapter. Alright, what is this, 11? This is 11, alright. 110, 100, 109, 58, 24. Those numbers are important. Chapter 11 is a quick one. This one is all menuing. Chapter 11 is all about menuing. Which, honestly, I love. I kind of love this chapter. Executing this chapter fast feels really good. If you've ever played the PS2 version, though, or if you're familiar with it at all, this is completely different. On PS2, you go to an entire third city called Shinseicho, and when you go to Shinseicho, you solve all these puzzles. But they didn't bother remaking Shinseicho from scratch, so instead they just transposed the puzzles into Sotenbori and changed them up a bit. Uh, 110, 100, 109. I started entering 58, 24. That's incorrect. You're supposed to, like, do stuff to learn those numbers, but if you already know the numbers, you can just enter them, which is nice. Hopefully they won't fight me as I'm opening this door. Good. It always comes close, but they've never actually done it. Whoops. That was a total waste. My first hit was, no muscle soda. So it did, like, no damage. Alright, now we gotta go talk to Santa Claus. And here he is. This is Santa. Right there, on the bench. That man is Santa. Wow, I did not do that correctly and I was not punished for it. You want to use light attacks there because Sim can be horrible. But I didn't, and he wasn't horrible anyway, so nice, cool. Very cool. That fight is easy. I don't know why anyone would ever lose time to it. Just don't get blocked, forehead. We get rained on. In PS2, it plays some unfitting jazz music as you get rained on there, but in this game, it plays some unfitting J-rock. Really disappointing change. But hey, here's injured person walking section number 3, and this time we're the injured person, which means you walk left and right at random, and it's annoying. There's also a weird glitch here where sometimes you just get teleported backwards. That's always fun. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Trying not to bump into anyone because it makes you lose health. And the health that we have coming out of this walking section is basically our HP for the entire rest of the run. This game does not heal you between chapters, so what you see is what you get. It does heal you before this. This is the one point in the game when it heals you. So our health here is just our health for the rest of the game. And I did take one hit, but that's fine. If I can get through the tigers in chapter 12, then I'm probably fine. If you haven't noticed, I haven't really been taking much of any damage in this entire run. The only enemies that can really damage me at all are like the tigers at the end of this chapter, and that's probably it. This isn't plot related, but she is blocking a taxi that we need to use. So we're gonna do her sub-story. I'm gonna take this opportunity to level up attack a whole bunch. This is the last level up in the game. We get that specifically to attack level 174. 174 is just enough to kill that guy in one hit, but it's not enough to overdamage the final boss. And that's like... it's hard to exactly describe. Maybe I'll do a better job of explaining it when we get to the final boss. But 174 is sort of the magic sweet spot where everything just lines up nicely. So that's why we stop there, even though we have enough experience to go much further. There's Golfman. Golfman is just standing there after the cutscene. I always find that funny in this game. Golfman is just chilling, like, oh, guess I lost. That's an encounter. I'm gonna despawn them. Goodbye. Probably could have ran past them, but that's fine. Just want to take it safe. am I at here? 14? Okay, that's good. 14 is plenty. That dude in the purple, I don't think you've really seen him much all run, but he's like a supporting character in the cutscenes, and then right there, it's revealed that he turns on you, and it's supposed to be dramatic. You could just throw him into the river if you wanted to, but I did not. You just stab him, it's a little faster. Here's the info guy who we gave 400,000 yen to back in chapter 13. I don't think you skip that. Yeah, you just do that. We're now down to just one muscle soda. Fortunately, it doesn't matter that we're pretty much out of muscle soda because there's a refill right here. And this refill is right on the way to the taxi that we're going to take, because we're going to Osaka Castle. In this serious crime drama, we go to a feudal Japanese castle, only for it to be revealed that under the castle is an even bigger underground castle made entirely of gold, where the villain has hired an army of samurai that we are now going to fight through. Welcome to Yakuza, I guess. I mean, I know I have an army of ninjas and samurai guarding my underground fortress. I don't know, like, if you guys hire someone else, but I think Sengoku is understandable here. He's the everyman in this situation. Oh my god, please. Stop dodging. Why are ninjas fast? Who could have predicted this? The ninjas are fast. Ah, really? Spooky ninja maze. I'm like not doing this right at all. This is really just quite sloppy. Also, the ninjas are not helping. Like, where did this ninja go? He's hiding. Who knew ninjas were stealthy? Like, why are the ninjas behaving like ninjas? They're not supposed to do that. I like to imagine that the ninjas are just like random Yakuza dudes who are just told to dress up like ninjas, and they just feel really awkward about this whole thing. They have like no special training. Oh, by the way, I'm contractually obligated to mention at this point in the run that Kazuma Kiryu has never killed anybody. Oh, broken cutscene. Look at this. That's not supposed to look like that, if you couldn't tell. Every once in a while, the cutscene breaks and that happens. I think it happens more often at high FOV. You want to kill Kunida here first, because if you kill the ninjas first, he'll just summon more. Oh my god, quit being a fricker and get out of here, please. Thank you. God. Alright, obligatory animal abuse boss fight. Today we have 2 tigers. Sorry, but I gotta do this. Hopefully I won't miss. Awesome, got him. The first tiger always starts the fight by just jumping straight at you. So if you time that correctly, you can take your sword out and just hold the sword out and he'll jump straight into it and take damage. The second tiger has higher defense than the first, always. So actually, if you want to play this perfectly optimal, you just pray that the tigers sit next to each other, and then you stab both of them at once, and you get to avoid the defense buff. But that just, like, doesn't happen ever. Except to Shen for some reason, but whatever. There we go. Tiger's down. There's actually some really interesting tech to this game, or to this fight in OG2, where the way you cause these QTEs to happen is by knocking them down a certain amount of times, and it's kind of like cool tech. It's one of the more unique fights in the run. In this game, it's the same as always, the only caveat being that they're a bit more aggressive than normal enemies, and their hitboxes are busted. We're going this way. Anyway, more filler. Welcome to Yakuza, we have filler. We're now going to engage in a several minute long side story about how Haruka really doesn't want to be an idol. Keep that in mind, everybody. Haruka really, really, really does not want to be an idol, no matter what. On PS2, there's a lot of strange triggers here, but in this game, they like marked everything correctly. And no Yume here, officer. This is a Yume-free zone. Dude, those were the good days where you'd throw the Patriarch bat and then pick it up later. Do we still do that in the run? I don't remember. That's still a thing. Because you need to use the gun, so you throw the Patriarch bat at the wall and then pick it back up. I love that strat. This guy is canonically Pitbull, by the way. Anyway, hot OG2 tech. Oh gosh, this might be bad. We're gonna mash for it. We're gonna mash for it. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Technically, once the text appears for an encounter, you have like a frame to cancel the encounter by interacting with something after the text goes away. So that's always a little scary. That's always a little scary. That was an unfortunate encounter spawn. But hot OG2 tech, none of what I'm doing right now is required in the original Yakuza 2. They make it look required, and there's waypoints and everything, but after you do the fight outside the idol place, you can just go straight back to AoE and continue with the story. You don't have to do any of this hostess stuff, or any of this, waitress stuff. Not hostess. Very different. Very different. Yeah, that's something that I found by complete accident, because I was not paying attention to what I was doing during practice. And ever since then, I've always checked for that sort of thing in like every Yakuza game I've routed, and I have never found anything like it again. It's literally just right there, where it's broken for some reason. Can this game give me a break? I am in desperate need of water. We'll have 2 more chapters to go before the next bit of downtime. Actually, right now will work. This is my favorite thing about K2. This is like the best addition they made in the whole game. You can now actually throw people off the trucks, which is like, why could you not throw people off the trucks before, Sega? Thank you for fixing this. Grip the crowbar here because I think the crowbar is faster on this fight. The really nice thing about the crowbar that makes it sometimes advantageous over using a sword is that it has a wider swing. Like, the crowbar strong attack has a big, like, wide swing, whereas the sword strong attack is just the stab. Get this gun, shoot that dude. Oh, I wasn't supposed to use a sword here. This is another yeet. But, like, here's a boss. His name is Hio. You can just see a Hio. Doesn't work on the Man in Black, though. There are invisible walls on this truck. There you go, he dead. How much have I got left on this sword? I haven't been looking, but hopefully it's enough for this chapter. And then if I need to, I have a backup I can equip. Or actually, I'll just, for safety, I'm just gonna equip the backup immediately over the gun. Same time I use the muscle soda before the next boss. Wow. The encounters are just out for blood. This whole run has been kind of crazy. Alright, we're coming up on a boss fight here. I'm gonna drink my muscle soda before entering the boss fight because there's a weird buffer at the start of the boss where it doesn't let you pause. Equipment. Also gonna take this opportunity to equip my backup sword because it looks like I'm really gonna need it. And I don't need the gun anymore, so I can just put the gun away. I use a two-finger mashing technique for mashing square really fast for Feel the Heat. Other runners actually mash the keyboard and the gamepad at the same time. It's a weird strat. I probably look strange, just like completely changing my grip on the controller, though, in the webcam. Killer Kawara has now been killed himself. You haven't met Killer Kawara, but there he is. He's been in all the cutscenes. He dead. He has 7 cutscenes where he explains his whole backstory as he dies. I'm not joking. It is actually 7 whole cutscenes of him just talking about things. It's always like, I look at that chapter and I'm like, oh boy, I'm on track to save time. And then the Killer Kawara cutscenes begin and it's like, oh, this chapter's not even over yet. Oh my god, never mind. Oh god. I screwed up. I haven't screwed this up in practice all day or yesterday. Screwed up in a run today. Fine. Wrong taxi. The walk of shame. Actually, the game might crash here. The game might crash right now. It isn't. Interesting. Interesting. The game is going to crash later in this chapter. I thought it would do so right there, but it didn't. I'm not sure what that means, but that's interesting. Whoops, I didn't mean to pick that locker key up. I just stopped running at an inconvenient time to preserve sprint. Anyway, that's my bad. Was supposed to just taxi straight here. When you're trying to do the taxi menus really fast, that just happens sometimes. Like, I have to have 2 full cities worth of taxi menus memorized, like all the locations and what order they are in the menu. And depending on what taxi you're standing at, that one gets removed from the menu, so then it like shifts other things up and down. So you kind of just have to know for like the whole run. Did I do that right? We're going to Tojo HQ, right? No. What am I doing wrong? I'm like forgetting the route here. Oh god, I know what I'm doing. I know what I did wrong. I used to make this mistake back when I did OG2 runs all the time. We have to go to the medical place. Wow, suddenly chapter 14 hits and I'm just like screwing everything up. Jeez. What is this chapter? This is disgusting. I've had like a pretty solid run so far, and then chapter 14 is just like, welp, time to throw it all in the garbage. That's fine. And the encounter still can't catch a break. Fortunately, I'm rich, so I can afford to take 30 wrong taxis. In an older version of the route, we would have run out of money here, probably. The money route used to be a lot tighter. Can't remember how it changed. I think we like stopped buying something like that. No, that wasn't it. I don't oh yeah, we used to like pick up silver plates and weird things before we knew about one of the gold plates. The gold plates that we pick up back in like the early part of this run are not all listed on GameFAQs. So there's one or two of them that we just straight up did not know about for the longest time. And until we found them, they weren't in the route. Shoutouts to Kuro for pointing out a gold plate to us that was just on the side of the road, hiding behind a pole. We used to get like a lot of smaller plates and then sell those. Alright, so I'm going to start explaining this early because I'm about to look like the world's biggest cheater. But this game, like I've alluded to several times now, has a really bad PC port. And if you're using certain models of processor, like a Ryzen 7 for example, the game will crash. You cannot finish a playthrough of the game without it crashing. And the crash will depend on how fast you're playing. So I've been playing pretty fast. Well, not really, but fast enough. The game is going to crash after the next fight, guaranteed. The game is going to crash after the fight in Bantam as I'm running towards Dakimoto's clinic. So after I take this taxi to prevent the crash, I'm just straight up going to Alt F4 the game. Unfortunately, I also have my split key on Alt, so when I do that, I'm going to pause the timer, but don't worry about it. Should have probably bound that to something else before we started the run. There we go. Don't worry about it. Actually, because this crash is so widespread, if you do runs of this for the leaderboard, you are allowed to pause the timer there. But for the purpose of the marathon, I don't want to pause the timer. That'd be weird. But yeah, we just straight up Alt F4 the game here, and this'll... It's just like a more advantageous time. Like coming out of that taxi, the game just quick saved. If we were to wait for the game to actually crash, we'd be losing like 15 to 20 seconds. Because we'd have to go back to our previous quick save, and that's a bit far back. But now we're crash proof. Good to go for the end of the run. And yeah, only affects certain processors. I happen to have one of the affected ones. I just physically cannot go fast in this game is what that means. I like to do that fight with the crowbar because they stand close together sometimes and it's fast. If I didn't Alt F4 the game, it would be crashing right about here, this exact spot. As we pass that corner, it would crash. and we'd have to go back to our last quick save, which would be right after the bar fight. We'd have lost like 10-15 seconds. That's why we alt F4. This fight's the same as the last time as we were in here back in Chapter 7. The table is very OP. Ah, whoops, he blocked. A bit late on that attack. Table is just extremely OP. Anything, generally speaking, in the Dragon Engine, anything that you pick up with two hands is going to be extremely OP. That two-handed swing attack is just nuts. It is the greatest thing. Should have sword on D-pad right. I do. Wow, the double kill. All right, there we go. So the nice thing about this is that going into the next two chapters, which are the last two chapters in the game, we are now done caring about weapon routing, pretty much. All of the weapons we've picked up in the run so far no longer matter because the finale is going to give us all of the weapons we need. So we did it. We didn't run out of stuff. Mission accomplished. We do have one last chapter before the finale, though. This one here, chapter 15. This chapter has a bit of an interesting strat to it. So this is much like chapter 4. This is another 3-minute wait, where you're just waiting on a phone call for 3 minutes. And unlike in chapter 4, we don't even have anything to do during this time. We're just waiting. The thing is, the 3-minute timer will pause if you interact with anything. So if you talk to Haruka, if you pause the game, if you go into a menu, and that includes the menu for where to taxi, right? If you try to take a taxi, the timer will pause for a second or two. And we are trying to get back to New Serena, or just Old Serena, I guess, as it is in this game, which is in the opposite corner of the city from where we are right now. So the optimal way to handle this part of the run, in order to not stop the timer, is to actually just run all the way there without ever doing anything, or without like interacting with anything. It sort of turns this part of the run into like a bit of a mini stealth game, because we need to get past the encounters without using any of the standard de-aggroing techniques, or else we'll lose time. I have those guys behind me still chasing me, so I can get past those guys without them causing a problem. I will interact with this vending machine coming up in a second, though, because I need the muscle soda for the finale. So this vending machine isn't an extra time loss. This vending machine is just always going to be in the route. If I have to interact with anything else, though, that's time loss. Like, we're probably going to be good, though. Hopefully there's nobody right outside New Serena, which happens sometimes. You also have to take a very specific route through the city because there's a billion sub-stories. Pretty much every sub-story is on the map right now. Ah, damn, I have to despawn those guys. So interacting with that vending machine made the timer pause for like a second. Ideally, you don't have to do that. But hey, we made it. So we still got like a minute or a minute and a half or something like that. If I stand still like this for long enough, a text box will appear that reminds me of what I'm supposed to be doing in the story, and that text box pauses the timer, because everything pauses the timer. The optimal thing to do is to stare at the door in first person so that the text box doesn't appear. But we're just gonna chill here until the call comes in. Yeah. So how's everyone doing tonight? This is the second waiting portion of the run. We had the 3 minutes at the club back in chapter 4, and then we have this where we're just waiting on the phone call. And we cannot enter the bar until we get the phone call, so we're just big chillin'. Is Haruka here? Haruka is here. There she is. Oh good, she's commenting on the sex workers in the underground area. Great. That's normal. Wonder why the ladies are in cages like that. Tell you when you're older, Haruka. There's a bunch of different random things she could say at this point. Usually she just comments on food. I have actually not seen this one before. I didn't know she could say this. There's the phone call. Alright, and that's chapter 15, so now we head into the finale. Chapter 16, Decision. Not sure why they call this chapter Decision. That doesn't really have anything to do with anything. Here we go. We're gonna fight our way through the whole city. In the original Yakuza 2, they couldn't do this, so instead, it's just a couple of fights that you do, and you just sort of teleport through the city. But here, we're gonna actually run through the whole city, and it's like on fire. It's kind of neat. And there's weapons littered all over the place, and some of those weapons are like the best weapons in the game, so we're gonna be picking those up along the way. Good, easy 2-swing. Wow, that was really good. I started taking this sword recently because it allows me to stay towards the right of this street, which means that Seo, who's that guy on the right, doesn't get stuck as often. If we go pick up the sword that's on the left side of the street, Seo will usually get stuck on something and then just not run at me, and it's really dumb. Oh, wow. Come on, you. Get out of here. Hopefully I'm doing this correctly. To pocket that one, that's the Chinese broadsword, which is one of the best swords in the game. This is the Darkwood, which has 36 hits on it, so it's pretty good as well. I had the angle there, but Kiryu didn't name it right. I'm gonna pocket this for the finale. Am I doing this right? I am doing this right. Okay. I'm doing this slightly different from how I did in my PB, I remember, but this is fine. That up for safety. I'm taking a sort of weird route through the city. This avoids a fight with dudes who have rocket launchers, and the rocket launcher dudes, even on easy difficulty, can stun lock you to death. So avoiding them is good. I like this route. It's also just one less fight in general. Gonna set up my equipment for the finale. All we need is the Darkwood that we're holding, the Darkwood on D-pad left, and the Chinese broadsword on D-pad up. Ah, what? That, I just got cheated, dude. Did you see that? I totally stabbed the second dude. Like, it made the sound effect and everything. They didn't take any damage. You're kind of trying to stab both of them at the same time before that QTE happens, because that means that you don't have to hit them after the QTE. By the way, this is the reason why our FOV is so high. Enemies in this fight will only spawn in locations where you cannot see them. I can currently see every location except for the one directly behind me, and as a result of that, all of the enemies will spawn directly behind me, and it saves a whole bunch of time if you do it correctly, which I have not done. Actually, yes I have. Good. That was pretty fast. Typically, if you don't use high FOV strats, the way that fight goes is, dudes will just sort of spawn in at random all over this entire room, and you have to run around chasing them down, and it's very slow. So high FOV strat can save you up to like 20 seconds here. And that is why our FOV is so high for that fight. And we play the entire game just looking through a fisheye lens so we can go 20 seconds faster right there. one last fight with the man in black. We just, yeah. Same as always. The man in black never learns. This is the 5th time we've beaten him up. I'm pretty sure you just sort of throw him off the side of this elevator off camera at this point. Because, like, there he is. But then coming out of this, where'd he go? He's gone. So we must have thrown him off the elevator. That's the only possible explanation. This fight has a weird buffer at the start of it, so we drink the muscle soda before entering the fight, and that makes this a lot more consistent. But hey, we're done with normal stuff. These are the final bosses we're on to now. We've got 3 bosses in a row here. First is Ryuji II. This guy's not too bad. We handle him the same way we handled Ryuji I. He has a ton more health than Ryuji I, but also our sword is now much better, so it's fine. Failing the inputs on this QTE does not speed it up, for those wondering. You still always get all 4 button prompts. I get asked that, like, kind of a lot, so that's why I bring it up. People really think that they've got a clever speed idea where you can fail that QTE, but no, it doesn't do anything. Got some backstory. This entire game's plot is, like, way too much to explain, but basically every character in the game is secretly an evil Korean. That's the plot. The Koreans are everywhere. Oh wow, that good kick. Good kick, Daijin Kim. This QTE we do fail on purpose, and it looks funny, so I like failing it. I'm gonna go ahead and deal with the rest of the minions before I take care of Daijin Kim. The reason why I do that is because after this QTE, if there are still enemies left alive, Kiryu will put the sword away. So it's just like a fraction of a second faster to do that, where we deal with the minions and then deal with Daijin Kim, so that we don't have to worry about taking the sword back out. Also, I took a safety heal. I really shouldn't have needed that heal, but just in case. You never know what Ryuji III could do to me. Alright, final boss time. This is Ryuji III. For the final time. This is basically the same strat, except now he has even more health, so we have to do it twice. There is a bit of a catch though. After this slice, there we go. He's gonna do this QTE, and then he'll go into his second phase. If by some chance we do not instantly kill him at the start of his second phase, any attack that he does will knock us down and then start a minute-long QTE, which we cannot skip in any way. So we really don't want to see that. So there we go. We just skip his whole second phase like that. Shoutouts to 174 attack. And then time is on this QTE, which is right now. All right. Yo, 153.12 honestly isn't bad. We timed this game loadless because the loads in the Dragon Engine are completely just nonsense. But they are sort of consistent for each person on their own PC. So I think this was a pretty good run. I think I can tell this was a good run, even though I don't have a loadless timer up. And then we're greeted with some lovely J-Rock over the credits. Fun and silly to show off? I actually do. As a matter of fact, I do, Xana. There is something that I would love to show off. Let me see if I have a save for it. But there is a certain sub-story in this game that is sort of famous. I think it's definitely top 3 sub-stories for the entire Yakuza series. And I really don't think any marathon showing for Kiwami 2 would be complete without showing off this particular sub-story to the masses. So that's what we're gonna do. I hope this save works. This is just like a new game plus save from some run I did at some point. So hopefully this is, the save will work for showing it off. Also, hopefully I know where it is because they moved it in the remake. I think it has to be nighttime. I think we have to make it nighttime for it to be there, maybe. Actually, can we not change time? Whatever, I'm just gonna do this. While I'm here, I might as well, hear you with sunglasses. Anyway, hopefully the sub-story is there. Otherwise, I actually don't even know how to change the time of day. This is completely unplanned. I just want to do this, so hopefully I can do it. Is there a taxi close by? There is. That. Alright, where is this thing? Ah, it's gotta be nighttime. How do you make it nighttime in this game? I've never played this casually before. I don't know. I'm being exposed as a fraud. It should be. That's where it is in every other Yakuza game. It should be in New Serena somewhere. Or Old Serena, because this is Yakuza 2. Old out of business Serena. No. Newspaper. Should stay here. Where's the, not the equipment box. Not that. In front of the back entrance. Oh, shoot. There's a door here. God, I'm such a fraud. I'm sorry for making this take so long. Okay, now we can go do the thing, though. I've had no idea. I had no idea. I've played, I think, like hundreds of hours of the original Yakuza 2, but I've never played this game casually before. I only ever have done speedruns of it. So, I did not know that that door was there. Anyway, this is the sub-story. It is these guys. This is not the important part, but basically it starts with us beating up these dudes. Good, I have muscle soda. I'll hit them with this brick. And these dudes are some random Yakuza guys. There's the boss, Patriarch Gondawara, his name is. He's gonna invite us to his club. The club is called Be My Baby. This place is paradise, he says. Wow, you have the sunglasses in the cutscene as well. Anyway, we have some incredibly awkward dialogue with this lady. Things in this club are a little weird. God, this looks so funny with the sunglasses. Anyway, here it is. This is the important part. Yeah, they're the glasses from the karaoke cinematic, right? So this is a thing they put in the game. I like the big baby penguin stuffed animal in the corner. Yeah, this is in the original as well. This is, if you ask anyone who's like a big series fan and has played all the games, this is like top 3 sub-stories in the whole series. Also, let's pacify this bitch. The best line. This is an iconic moment for the Yakuza series. Alright, do I have anything to use in here? I'm not even like familiar with this fight because I never do this. There is nothing to use in here. Okay. Let's do this then. Actually, I have sword. I don't have to take this crap. I have a sword. Not enough babysitting for today. And then now that we're outside, his low-ranking Yakuza people thank us because they were also super weirded out by the boss. Anyway, that's the sub-story. That's the thing I had to show off. That's it then. Thanks for watching K2. This game owns. It is fun. And yeah, thanks for watching my run.